Yo, what's up guys? You're back with Technic, and today I have the Realme X2 Pro with me. We have the starting price at the top there at around $380, which is roughly $70 cheaper than the Oppo Reno Ace, which is actually the same phone. We have the same cable over here and a very similar silicone case which we just saw, and we have a 50-watt charging block. This is 15 watts smaller than the Reno Ace's charging block, but let's get to it later when we do a charging test. So enough on that guys, let's focus on the build over here, and if you haven't noticed already at the bottom, I highlights in yellow which section of the video that we're on, so you're more than welcome to go ahead and skip. I've also put in different captions in the description below in case you want to jump to any of these categories. So now comparing the backs to the Oppo Reno Ace on the right hand side and the Realme X2 Pro on the left hand side, they are ridiculously similar, and that is because they are actually sister companies. They're both owned by the company BBK Electronics. The power button of the X2 Pro has a nice yellow accent, and it's also a little bit indented, which is cool. Unfortunately, there is no micro SD card there. At the top, things are nice and clean as well, and at the left we have another volume rocker split, just like seen on the Reno Ace here once again. But I do like the splits. I think it looks really cool, and I really do like the X2 Pro in this starry white. It looks absolutely stunning guys. And at the bottom we have a headphone jack, thank goodness for that, a Type-C port over there, as well as a downward firing speaker which is paired with the massive stereo speaker that we also saw on the Reno Ace. We have the same Reno Ace 16 megapixel selfie snapper in the front here, though this one comes with electronically stabilized image stabilization, and at the back we have a 64 megapixel Samsung GW1 sensor. This kind of ups it from the Sony IMX586 sensor, which is the 48 megapixel that you see on the Reno Ace. Now this is also interpolated down to 16 megapixels for a binded shot. We also have a 13 megapixel telephoto lens, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and 2 megapixel depth sensor, which is also different, and the branding on the back looks a bit different. It's a bit strange. I've never seen anything like it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I would have preferred it at the bottom, to be honest. It doesn't look terrible, and I really do like this white color, so it's not the end of the world. In the features front, it is nice and smooth and things look pretty stock. This is color OS, the same as seen on Oppo phones. Since it is a sister company, it's just a bit strange how they absolutely embed the exact same thing. So we went ahead and we updated the software over there. Unfortunately, we are still stuck on Android 9 Pie, though it is going to be upgraded to Android 10 very soon. We have a Snapdragon 855 Plus processing chip, and the lowest you can get is 6 gigs, but I have the 8 gig of RAM. You can go all the way up to 12 gigs. We also have that wonderful 90 Hz panel. This is a 6.5-inch AMOLED panel, the exact same seen on the Reno Ace. So guys, it is nice and fluid once we have that 90 Hz on, but remember, when you are running games that have a 60 frames per second cap, such as PUBG, you won't notice a difference at all comparing this to another phone with 60 Hz, because it is capped at 60 FPS, and the max you can do on this is 90, but if the game can only do 60, then you're capped at 60 anyway, so save your money and go for a 60 Hz screen. Though the fingerprint sensor is nice and snappy there, and the facial recognition is just as quick as the Reno Aces and any other phone that has come out. It is ridiculously quick. It is not that secure, but it is very quick, so good on you, Realme. So now guys, we're going to move on to camera department with my friend Little Groot over here, and starting with ultra-wide. People have asked me to go from ultra-wide in, so I'm starting with that. So we're going ultra-wide, then we're using the 64 megapixel main sensor, which has an aperture of f1.8. Then we go into the bind shot over here, which is now 16 megapixels. It is divided by 4 times from that 64 megapixels, since it is 4 times interpolated. And we have another bind shot over there with depth effect. And now we're going on to telephoto over here with 2 times optical zoom. Now, looking outside the window, the pollution was really bad in Beijing here today, guys. But we're going from ultra wide, we're jumping into that 64. This is main and raw. It looks better than the 48 megapixel Sony IMX586 sensor, if you ask me. Though I think the 16 megapixel bind shot looks even better. We use that same 64 megapixel camera, but we are using binding to get greater pixel density. So now we're going to 2 times optical, then we have 5 times hybrid. This is a mix between optical and digital zoom, which is really cool to see, same as the Ace. 10 times digital zoom over here, no more hybrid, and then we can have a max zoom of 20 times, which honestly looks worse than the Reno Ace. Though if you zoom in on the 64 megapixel shot, it will look really great. That 16 megapixel snapper on this looks even better, if you ask me. No colors are washed out, especially in portrait compared to the Reno Ace, and this is 16 megapixels once again. Now we have 4K 60 frames per second on here too, thanks to that wonderful Samsung GW1 sensor and Snapdragon 855 Plus processing chip. We can seamlessly jump into 2 times optical, though this switches to telephoto lens and we lose that sense of stabilization. We can also go into 5 times hybrid to record 4K 60 FPS. Things don't look the best, but you can do it if this is what you want to do, guys, and it really doesn't look terrible. Actually, yeah, it does. It looks a lot better when you just have it on 1 times, guys. Stick to that. But we can do ultra wide, and unfortunately ultra wide is limited to Full HD 30 FPS. If you are on 4K and you click on that ultra wide button, it will revert to Full HD 30 FPS. So that kind of sucks, but the option is there if you want it. We're going to go ahead and do a charging test, the same as we did with the Reno Ace, from 49% all the way to 100%, so that we have something to compare it to. We're starting with 0 minutes, as you can see at the top over there, 49% to 49%, so 0% capped over there, and we're going to jump straight into the first 5 minutes. After the first 5 minutes, 49% to 70%, charge 21% in just 5 minutes, guys. That is ridiculously fast with a 50-watt charging block. That is the same as the Oppo Reno Ace that I got the other day, and it has a smaller charging watt block. So we do have 90% now in 10 minutes, so that's 41% of juice in just 10 minutes, which is ridiculous. And we're gonna head over to that 100% mark over here, 14 minutes, 49% to 100%, charged 51% in just 14 minutes. The Oppo Reno Ace with a 65-watt charging block did the same test in 60 minutes. Guys, what is happening right here? Are they trying to fool us? Anyway, on the Oppo Reno Ace test, guys, I did not put performance mode on, but I got a really poor score on AnTuTu, so I did make sure to put performance mode on of the Oppo Reno Ace on my very left and the Realme X2 Pro in the middle. So you can see that 400k score on the left over there on the Oppo Reno Ace. It was not good compared to the 490,000 seen on the Vivo Nex 3 5G on my right hand side there, guys. So it kind of sucks what happened there, but you have to put performance mode on, and then you guys can see better scores. As you guys can see at the top, the average is 471,000 on Snapdragon 855 Plus Pro phones. So the Realme X2 Pro is slightly disappointing even with the performance mode on. Then when we're looking at temperatures, 38 degrees Celsius on the X2 Pro. What is happening? That is ridiculously hot. The other two on the left and right sitting beside it are at 33 degrees, and the average is 35 degrees on all other Snapdragon 855 phones. Battery, guys, 46 degrees, 47 degrees. It's ridiculous. The average we have is 41 degrees, and the other two were a lot cooler next to it too. So the Vivo Nex 3 is still the champion by a long shot over there, guys. And we're gonna just slap on this case for you guys so you can see what it looks like. It's actually got a bit of a black tint to the back, and I don't mind it. It's not my favorite thing. I don't really like silicone cases. And once again, guys, because this is made by BBK Electronics, we have access to the Play Store, and Google is rooted into settings, so no need to worry about that Huawei movement happening over there. Otherwise, guys, I'm really impressed with the 4000 mAh battery that is on this thing. The charging is really fast. The cameras look really awesome. There are 4 of them. We do have a kind of a plasticky feel at the back, but it feels kind of glass, I guess. The thing is, we have Gorilla Glass 5 here, so that is kind of why it's a bit cheaper than the Oppo Reno Ace. And there's a few little cutbacks, such as that 65-watt charger going down to 50 watts. Though, as you guys have seen, the Realme X2 Pro actually did a better job in that department. I'm not sure what that has to do with, but anyway, it's kind of, they're the same phone, guys. Choose the one you want. If you want to save some money, go for the X2 Pro. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, this is Technic.